Years ago, black folk got the right to vote. You're not in any moral position to tell anybody how corrupt they are. You should be quiet.
I think in general, women, have to deal with not being believed, but we have a whole other layer because people are socialized to believe that black girls are lying.
Because while I was working on those streets, watching those folks see their jobs shipped overseas, you were a corporate lawyer sitting on the board of Walmart.
We as black people don't need an apology in this nation. What we need is what was promised to us. They promised us after slavery 40 acres and a mule. We never got it.
Welcome, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and podcast land. This will be the Great Debate League's inaugural GDL Light debate structure. This is where we take hot topics from the news and debate on it. This particular debate style will only have a 20-minute back and forth lightning round. So here's the topic. For many Americans, the presidential election is a critical component of the United States political system. For others, it is an outdated relic that allows only the idea of choosing the lesser of two evils, who both represent the oligarchy. Tonight, I, the crafty professor and organizational psychologist, Dr. Mutor Flood, will defend my premise that music star Kanye West is not any worse of a presidential pick than the two major candidates, that being former Vice President Joe Biden and President Donald J. Trump. My challenger, taking the opposite position, is the esteemed historian, Professor A.J. Lowe. Let's begin.
Let's begin.
Okay. So let's hear.
I'm just curious. I'm curious on how you don't see how this guy is just a little bit more dangerous than Donald Trump as well as Joe Biden.
Well, let's lay it out here. All right. So Kanye's positive. He could probably get more blacks to vote than would normally because he has a different demographic that he appeals to. He can get more independents to vote. He can get more young people to vote, for sure. He can bring out a base of non-voters who essentially would become more politically activated during and after his run for president, like they did for Obama. He has a better business record than both Donald Trump and Biden. All right.
Making slave clothes? I guess whatever makes money, right?
I mean, listen, Donald Trump had like 6 bankruptcies. So, I mean.
Yeah, I guess whatever makes money. The issue is, especially when you start talking about bringing out voters, is that, I mean, remember that the whole reason we even have Joe Biden is because Donald Trump is supposed to be an existential threat, right, to the United States. So Joe Biden got brought in, even though he was literally at the end. He was at the bottom of the election race, or the electoral race at the time. And he was brought in, and Clyburn ended up throwing his weight behind him, which allowed for him to capture South Carolina and put Bernie Sanders to the back. So we only have Joe Biden in order to take down Trump. Now, we do know that Donald Trump and Kanye West are homeboys. In fact, we've seen Kanye West rocking a Make America Great Again hat. All right.
Okay.
So who's to say that Donald Trump didn't put Kanye up to actually going out there in order to split the black vote or take away from the Democratic vote, which makes him dangerous?
Hold on. That's actually irrelevant. That's irrelevant. The premise of this debate is if Kanye West as president would be any worse or better than the two candidates that we currently have. So Understood. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he was, if we don't have, first of all, we don't have no evidence that he's in cohorts with Donald Trump. But even if it was, that's not the debate that we're having, because we have no evidence on that. So
I understood.
So
What I'm okay, well then to explain why this gentleman, because here's the issue with Kanye West. I love the brother, but we have a gentleman who is actually trying to run for president that is suffering from a severe mental illness. That right there makes him dangerous,
really,
especially when you.
so just having a mental disorder is dangerous. So
No,
what
I'm
about
saying
Abraham
no, no,
Lincoln?
no,
Abraham
no,
Lincoln had
no.
depression. Winston Churchill had
So what?
bipolar
Wait, so
disorder.
wait a minute, hold up.
Isaac
So
Newton
wait,
had bipolar disorder.
you are comparing Isaac Newton, Winston Churchill, and Abraham Lincoln to Kanye West.
I'm not comparing. I'm saying that automatically excluding Kanye because he has a mental disorder is problematic.
No. What I'm saying is his mental disorder, which we've obviously which he put on display, which shows an array of of emotions, is dangerous when you're talking about being unstable and then trying to be a presidential figure. I mean,
And so what I'm saying is that we have a historical record of people who have mental illnesses being political leaders and doing an excellent job. So
okay,
that doesn't follow.
okay, all right, okay. Based off of your psychological analysis, off of what you have seen just within the last 6 to 12 months, based off of what Kanye West has done, what would you diagnose him as far as having a mental illness? I'm a historian. I can't do this. So help me out.
So you cut out a little bit. What was that question? I couldn't see it. I mean, I couldn't hear it. Say it again.
What my question was, as a mental health, you're a doctor in mental health. You're what I would
That
consider a mental
well,
health expert, right?
hold on. I don't want to misrepresent myself. My field is
Okay.
organizational psychology. I'm not a clinical psychologist nor a counseling psychologist. That's not my area of
Okay.
expertise. Go
Okay.
ahead.
So let me ask you, in whatever expertise you might have in psychology, because I'm a historian, I don't have any expertise in psychology. So I'm asking you, as far as your expertise in psychology, how would you diagnose, or what mental disorders would you diagnose Kanye West with having?
I mean, I'm just going to go off what he has told us. He said he has bipolar disorder, so that comes with, bouts of depression and mania. I mean, but then again, like I said, there are other political leaders who have had depression and who have had bipolar disorder. So that
What
shouldn't be
about
an
you said
exclusion.
you use the term called mania, right? Is
Yes,
that I heard you? What is mania?
mania is essentially when you're on a high. You're on a high, and you essentially it's the exact opposite of depression, where you're doing lots of things that are outside of your normal personality, maybe somewhat reckless
Okay.
behavior.
Okay.
There's a whole other host
So
of issues with that. But again, that's not my field.
so can you give me any other off the top of your head? Can you give me any other leaders that have suffered from mania as far as being in a leadership position?
Just did Winston
You
Abraham
said
Lincoln.
depression. No, you said depression. I'm sorry. I'm talking about mania, which you just described.
No, I'm saying two of those I stated had bipolar disorder. So
No. I'm specifically talking about just mania, the one you
right,
described. I've never
right,
heard of this before.
right. What I'm saying is that bipolar means polar means two extremes.
Understood.
So one extreme is a depressive states where you're very sad, all right? Extreme prolonged sadness. The other extreme is mania, where everything's exciting. You may take, risk that you wouldn't normally take. You're acting outside of yourself, um, and that may be for a prolonged period as well, and then you come back into a center. All right. Now again, the political figures that I mentioned had either depression and or bipolar disorder. Back then, they didn't even have medicine for what they had, and they were very astute political leaders. So it is not, for me, a factor in picking him as president if he has bipolar disorder. Now, if he had something uh, that may severely alter his mental state, there are other classifications of disorders that I may find an issue with. But again, again, we would have to take it on a case by case basis.
Okay, go ahead. No, I want to make sure you finish. I want to make sure I
No,
completely
no,
understand what you're saying.
and back to it. So if the disorder, if his mental illness is not the issue, what other issues do you have with Kanye?
Me
What would make him?
personally,
Yeah. What would make
well,
less of a of a good president than Donald Trump or
I,
President
I
Biden?
think I think that, well, number one, when I think about when I'm watching Kanye this week, he just reminded me of Donald Trump, straight up. He reminded me of Donald Trump in his actions and what he was saying and some of his mannerisms, except the up and down is something you don't even see with Trump. Like I said, I mean, I've seen Trump, say what you will about Trump, but Trump he can handle his emotions a little bit better than Kanye,
All right.
especially
So
with the crying. But
so
what I think the issue is that Kanye has been credited with a title of genius, as opposed to giving it a specific title called musical genius. And we talked about this before.
I mean
Also, I tried to look up his
that's
IQ test and I couldn't find anything. It
well
says that he scored a
okay.
131, but what
Let,
I'm saying is that,
so
go
now
ahead.
so we know not all things are going to be out there in internet land. However, let's just go off the premise that he does have a high IQ level. Okay, that's great. All
Let's go
right.
off the premise that he doesn't and he's saying he does.
Okay, let's say he doesn't. That
Okay.
we President Bush had a C average.
All right. Donald
Okay,
Trump is probably a C or D average, correct?
yeah. I mean, there's this proof that he plagiarized. That
Okay.
he paid people to take tests for him and everything. So
Understood.
these are not. And Bill Clinton was a Rhodes Scholar, and he had a terrible record on a whole lot of things. So
Right.
again, so again, these aren't things that would necessarily exclude um, Kanye West from being a better choice than Donald Trump or President Biden. Let me ask you this: Has Kanye ordered the killings of people, of American citizens or people abroad? No.
Kanye West is a fucking. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. I apologize for that. I got
Right.
a little emotional. Kanye West is a musician.
Right.
Let's
Okay.
thank God that Kanye West does not have the ability to hold
Has
other people's
has
lives in his hands.
has Kanye started foreign wars, which have killed thousands of people?
Kanye West is a musician. Kanye
Okay.
West, honestly, and you know what? In all reality, when we
Has
start talking about
hold,
his
hold on. Has Kanye locked up a large segment of the black population
Kanye West is a
since
musician,
94?
sir.
Since
Kanye West is a
94.
musician.
The answer is no. Has
Kanye West is a
Has
musician.
Kanye bungled a pandemic? No.
Kanye West is a
No.
musician.
Yes. And he's an outsider. So that comes with all of the unknown advantages of being an outsider.
That's
Which
the
we can
same
kind of
thing
go
that
over.
Donald Trump said. That's the exact same thing Donald Trump said.
But Donald Trump wasn't exactly an outsider. He had political influence through his money, which he talked about on the campaign trail in 2016. So
okay,
he's not necessarily an outsider.
Who's to say that Kanye West doesn't have political influence with his money?
We don't know this.
Okay, so we don't know that. So we can
We
just
don't
go
know
ahead
this.
and
We don't know this, but
so
we
what I'm
do
saying
know
is
if
that-
you're comparing him to Donald Trump, we know Donald Trump explicitly said this on the campaign trail. He explicitly said it.
Okay, and now you know what? What I'm going to do is I'm going to give that one to you, sir. I absolutely give that one to you. The issue with Donald Trump, or excuse me, with Kanye West, is that he is mimicking Donald Trump. He gets up there and he makes statements that can't really be
and Donald Trump won the presidency.
Right.
So why wouldn't you mimic his political styles in order to assume to see the president?
Okay, so let's say Kanye wins. We're just going to take a hypothetical and just say Kanye wins. You think that the United States would actually be better off with a Kanye?
I'm saying it would be no different. He's not any better or worse than what we already have or Joe Biden. And we can go through Joe Biden's record if you want, and we can go through Donald Trump's record if you want.
No. We're focusing, like you said, we're focusing on Kanye West. Plus
Kanye brings a lot of things that both of those two don't have. First of all, he's not
music.
First of all, he's in touch with his emotions, which we don't see a lot from our political figures. All right. Second, because he's an outsider, it's easier for him to be objective All right. He'll also have a fresh perspective on old problems because he's not a career politician or a career businessman who is in cahoots with the political class in the American social structure. So again, what would make him worse than the two that are already out there?
Personally, I haven't seen Kanye West do anything outside of making him. Now, I will say, when it comes to music and making beats and production, the guy is a musical genius. I will give him that 100%. He
Okay.
also makes slave clothes. I'm not into it. Other people are. That is
We're
absolutely cool. What I'm saying is that other
under
than that,
capitalism.
whatever sells. Other than that, Kanye West brings absolutely nothing to the table.
Again, President Obama, he served two years as a junior senator before he
Stop
became
it!
president.
Stop it! Stop it!
So
I won't let you. Oh
he
no,
had he had
that is
very
a
lim
no,
he had very
no
limited
sir,
political
no
experience.
sir, no
Donald
sir.
Trump
That is a false
has
equivalency, sir.
I,
No
I'm just
sir. I will
I
not
didn't
allow
say
you
I
to
didn't say
compare
none.
Kanye
I
West
didn't
to
say none.
Barack
I said
Obama.
I said a
I
very
will not
limited
allow you to
amount.
do that.
I said
I'm
a
not going
very
to let you do
limited.
that.
I said a
No,
very
sir. I'm not
limited.
going to let you do that. I'm not going to let
Okay.
you do that.
Okay.
You can't.
Okay.
You cannot make a comparison to a gentleman who has a law degree, a constitutional law degree, to a dude who makes beats.
So
That's
a
like
gentleman
saying. That's like saying. You know what? Then why don't we just go and
so a
get the
gentleman
next
who had
producer?
a gentleman who had a law degree didn't follow his constitutional law degree and killed American citizens
Hold
abroad
on. That's not what we're
without due
discussing.
process and
And
called them
you brought him
terrorists.
up. Hold on, wait. That's not what we're
So
discussing. And
let's
you
go.
brought
So let's
Obama
go.
into this. You
Let's
brought
go.
Obama into
But
this.
let's
You made comparisons
let's get
between.
away. Let's get away from Obama. Let's go back to
Okay.
Kanye. Go
All
for it.
right. You
Go for it.
made the comparison. All I'm saying is that
I just talked about his Obama's limited experience, which was something that they talked about in the 2007 campaign, that he had very limited political experience in comparison to Hillary Clinton and the other people that he was running against, like John McCain.
before
So
Barack
that
Obama.
was an issue.
Hold on,
That
wait.
was an issue.
One question. One question. Before Barack Obama got elected, had he ever held a public office before?
That's why I said limited. I didn't say
No.
none. I said
So
limited.
okay.
I said
So
limited.
since we're comparing, what political office has Kanye West ever held?
I don't think that political office. I think there are positives and negatives. There are positives for not having held a political office,
What are the
and there are also
negatives? What are the negatives?
the negatives are that you, like any job that you go into, you have to get on the job experience.
Oh, and we're gonna give this to a dude who is suffering from mania,
But
right?
we just talked about it. Abraham Lincoln had
No,
depression.
you
Winston
said
Churchill
Abraham
had
Lincoln had
Winston
depression.
Churchill Winston Churchill had
Okay.
bipolar disorder.
Okay.
Isaac
Let me
Newton,
ask you a question.
arguably the smartest guy in Western Europe, suffered from a bipolar disorder as well.
I
These are
wouldn't know.
these are not. I looked it up. You can research it. These are not things that completely disenfranchise Kanye West from being an adequate president. And you can make the case, based off his hands aren't dirty, that he has a better record than Donald Trump and Joe Biden.
And,
So
and
again, what would make him a worse pick? Those two. I come
let me
back to
ask you
it.
this.
Go
Okay,
for it.
let me ask you, because I want to ask you again real quick before we expire. I want to ask you about your expertise, because you are a psychologist, correct?
That's not my
Based,
field. My field is not clinical psychology. But okay, go for
okay,
it.
all right. I'm just looking for some statistics, and maybe you can help me with them, because I really don't know.
Okay.
Based off of statistics, how many Americans would you say suffer from depression?
So I did the research, and about 2.3 million Americans suffer from bipolar disorder, and that same rate is present in African Americans. So it's about 46 million African Americans. So that same rate of whatever 2.3 million works out to from the American population also is the same for the Black population. So I'm not
That's
sure.
roughly okay. So we got 2.3. All right. Okay. So would you I just to be clear, you're saying that mania and bipolar depression are the same, or mania and depression are the same, correct?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying
Okay. So
those
mania and
those
depression are not the same.
no, what I'm saying is that those together form what is called bipolar disorder.
Okay. So we need both of them in order to have bipolar disorder, correct?
there's a whole classification. It's in the DSM with 5 or 6 on how to diagnose somebody with bipolar disorder. But let's
Dude,
not get
you are
into.
the expert on this.
But
No,
let's.
no. The reason there's a
I am
reason
not.
behind my
I am
question.
not the expert
No,
on that.
no.
That's why I keep saying that.
There's
That's
a
not my
reason behind
field.
my question, and I have one more question based
All right,
off of that. How
go
many
for it.
people, how many Americans suffer from mania? Like I said, I've never heard of this before. How many people suffer from mania? How many Americans suffer from mania?
The people who suffer from the mania would be those 2.3 million Americans.
So just to be clear, that mania is the same as I just want to make
You
sure.
go from mania, you go into waves. You go from mania to depression to mania to depression. That's bipolar disorder.
Okay, all right. So what we're saying is we saw Kanye fluctuating between all of that within 42 minutes, right?
Well, listen, I'm not a clinical psychologist, nor have I diagnosed him, so I can't say that for sure he had a manic episode. That
You
could
know
be,
what?
but I don't know. But again, having mania or having depression shouldn't be a reason that Joe Biden, who's locked up thousands and thousands of black folks, and Donald Trump,
I'm not for Joe Biden.
who is so then you agree with me.
No,
So
no, I don't.
you agree.
No, I don't. I said I'm not for Joe Biden.
That doesn't mean
Trump.
that
Wait.
Donald Trump or Joe Biden is a better pick than Kanye West. You agree with me?
No,
thank
sir.
you.
No, sir. What I'm saying is that I think all three are dangerous. I'm going to go ahead and say all three are dangerous. But
okay.
Kanye is a little bit more dangerous
How?
because
You haven't proved that. How?
Because number one, in order for me to actually prove it from what I'm seeing is that I'm going to need a clinical psychologist in order to explain and go into a little bit more depth into how these mental disorders.
I just gave you politicians who had it, who were excellent. Winston Churchill was an excellent politician for his time period.
But you would not.
Abraham Lincoln, an excellent politician.
You would not. Okay, all right. My question to you is: what did Winston Churchill and Abraham Lincoln do prior to their presidential or leadership positions? Did they do anything?
As far as what?
I'm talking about as far as elected office.
Again, I said that is not something that it's not in my criteria that makes somebody better or worse to hold political office. You have to start somewhere.
And you ain't got no president that's been elected that ain't really had no experience in political office, bro.
Maybe that's a problem.
Except for Donald Trump. Trump.
And that's why I said he's no better or worse.
I guess
he's no better or worse.
That's okay. Let me stop.
That was my premise.
Stop, man. This is fun. This has been fun, and I see that the time thing it keeps flashing. So I guess, dang, that went by so fast. I thought that was going to be longer. I look forward to doing this again, man. I still don't think that. I wish I could have had a little bit more time to actually prepare and go into this guy's mental history. And I'm pretty sure we could have pulled out some other things based off of this, But
I mean, if you pulled out depression and mania, it'd be like he has bipolar disorder. That's not an exclusionary thing.
And one of the things that kind of alarmed me about what I watched the other day is when he got up, he started talking about, yeah, man, I am I scored 131 on the IQ test, and everybody starts clapping. He's like, I'm a genius. And I'm thinking like, wait, what other than make beats, what have you done that's actually ingenious?
I mean, being excellent, being at the apex of your field, is a good thing. I mean, making it to a billionaire, a billionaire as a black man in America, you've won. You're in uncharted territory. You're in the top 1% of 1%. Now, whether that's good or bad is debatable, depending on how you feel about capitalism and the American social system. But some would say that's a thing, being able to becoming a billionaire when you started off with not nothing, because his mom was a black studies professor, or history professor of some sort. So he didn't start from nothing.
Watching the deterioration.
But he didn't start off like Donald Trump.
No. And I mean, but watching the deterioration of Donald Trump, of Kanye West is quite sad. And to see where he is now as opposed to where he started, there's definitely evidence of something going on in his head. And I think
there's evidence of bipolar disorder. That's what it is. But we got to wrap it up. Before we go, let me say this.
I have nothing against people who suffer from bipolar depression, who
Thank you
suffer
for saying
from
that.
depression. I am not. This is not about them. This is not about singling people out. People can definitely. You can still be functional with mental illness, and I believe that
Okay.
mental illness is something that we need to take seriously in this country.
That was your whole premise. That was your whole premise.
With that being said, I don't think that some certain mental illnesses should be put in leadership positions. Like a psychopath should not be put in a leadership position.
I mean, there's a lot of psychopaths that you don't know are psychopaths and they're undiagnosed.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying, are you okay with allowing a psychopath to take a leadership position?
Well, I think a certain type of people are psychopaths in general. So we won't get into that.
Question.
We won't get into that.
That's not what I asked you. That's not what I asked you.
We won't get into that.
Okay.
So let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up. Thank you for the debate.
To set me up now?
No.
Thank you,
I
man.
don't.
No, I'm just messing with you, bro. I'm just messing with you. Hey, it's been fun, bro. I appreciate the opportunity to get to chop it up with you. I look forward to doing this again. It was definitely it was fun.
Absolutely, brother. You take it easy, man.
Yes,
Peace,
sir.
y'all.
You too. Peace.